Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So I just got back from the Warhammer 40,000 Open Day, the New Year's Open Day. As you can see, I'm going to be posting some of my pictures that I took. I'm going to be talking about some of the models I seen, talk about some of the designs that I discussed with the designers there. Hopefully I'll give you a little bit more information, show off some models, show off some angles of the models that we've already seen which haven't been posted by the Warhammer community website, and just basically just give you that little bit more information of the kind of stuff I gathered from the event. So let's jump in and let's get started. So Lazarus was one of the first models I was interested in, of course, since he is a Primaris. And as you can see in the background, this is his sprue. I asked one of the designers, could I take him out the box? I'll post the box in a second because that has some nice interesting stuff on the back. And I said, can I actually see the sprue? Because I was really interested, like a lot of people, in how the helmet works with the feathers on either side. And as you can see in the top left hand corner, there's only one option for the feathers, and that is actually in the grip of his hand. So for those of you who don't know, there is two helmeted options for this, and one has no feathers where you can put on his actual head, and one has feathers which is gripped absolutely under his arm. So that is the only feather option. I spoke to the designer who had him at the table, but he didn't design him. He designed Shadow Sun. The designer who designed Lazarus wasn't actually at the event, so I basically said, is it going to be hard to kit bash it, before I actually seen the sprue? It's like, no, it shouldn't be too hard. If you're familiar with kit bashing, you should be able to just clip it off and reapply it somewhere else, or just get some others from otherwhere and just put it on the helmet that you actually have inside of the box. And the other bit of the sprue, as you can see here, has some more of the weapon options. Again, you can see the other side of the feather for the helmet. I did ask about the bolter because there's been a lot of speculation on what kind of bolter is it? Is it a bolt carbine? Is it just a normal bolter that he's using and stuff like that? Again, since the guy who made it wasn't there, the chap who made Shadow Sun, who was answering the questions about the two models, basically said to me, I think it's just a variant, really. I don't think it's anything different. But of course, because there was no rules there, he couldn't confirm that. So at the moment, it's just a variant until it says otherwise in the rules. Hopefully, we'll have some rules this week that's going to be posted on the Warhammer community website, and maybe it'll do something fancy and stuff like that. But for now, nothing confirmed about what it is. If it's just a shortened down Primaris bolt rifle, or is it just a regular bolt carbine, or it's just a firstborn bolt gun. We have absolutely no idea. It's just a variant from his words. And this is the back of the box, as you can see. So it just shows off really some of the armor variants, shows a little bit of the back of the model. Emity's Edge is what the sword's called. Just a few different angles really. We've all more or less seen this kind of image posted on the Facebook website and stuff like that, but this is just what it looks like actually on the box. So you can see it on the top left, it says Primaris Master. So you can actually have Lazarus as Lazarus, or you can make him a Primaris Dark Angel Master. For me, of course, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to be completely converting this guy into a Black Templar, or something like a Castellan, or something like that. I'm just going to let my imagination run wild with this. And as well, since we're on the subject of boxes, this is the Shadow Sun box. You can see some of the customization options, the two drones, 3 head options on this. I'll show off the sprue in a second because, again, I did get some sprue shots for Shadow Sun. So you can have a helmeted version, a half helmeted version, and of course Shadow Sun's head as well. One thing I did notice, and again I'll show this in a second, is how big this model is. It's very, very hencher, for those of you who know what hench means. Very, very big, like big booter, let's say. And they actually showed off a diagram, which I'll put on the back of the screen now, where it actually shows off how she fits in it, which I think is really, really cool, because I love seeing stuff like this. For those of you who know, like, they used to do some books back in the day where they used to show like a Lehman Russ tank or a Baneblade and like chop half of it off, and you can see like all the inner workings and stuff of the thing. That's what the designer who designed Shadow Sun was showing off in his book. So there we go, a little image for those people who are wondering how she actually fits inside of this suit. And here is the sprue. A couple of shots of the sprue. We'll start with like the top bit. You can see the actual base on the top left, which the whole Imperial Aquila will be slotted into, which is more or less jumping off, flying through the air, full of skulls and stuff. I like all the skulls for the skull throne, of course, as always. If we move on to some of the other ones, you can see some more of like how the arms work and how it all goes together, some of the guns and stuff like that, some of the head options at the bottom of Shadow Sun. You can actually see, you know, some of the Aquila base and all that kind of stuff. It looks like a very big multi-part kit, the Shadow Sun kit. And one of the things I was trying to get hold of, but I couldn't get hold of, was like the rule instructions, like how to put it together inside of the box, because I just wanted to see what the rules were on this. But they were being good about that. They didn't let any of us actually get our hands on that, which is kind of a shame. But I understand at the same time, because they probably want to keep the rules to be released at a later stage. Just a little answer for those of you wondering if they were going to look at the land speeder, that so-called leaks and stuff like that. I did tactically ask them about the land speeder. My actual words was, hey, is the land speeder not out today in the cabinets or anything like that? Which the GW designers had a little smirk and just didn't really acknowledge it, and just had a little, well, it was more of a banter question, and they took it as banter, and you know, nothing was said. It was just like, no, we're just talking about what's on display here today. So I kind of think from their reaction that they know it was a leak, but of course they're not allowed to acknowledge it or speak about anything like that, because of course that just lights the internet on fire. But I asked it and I got no response, guys. So yes, it wasn't there in the cabinets or anything like that at all. So yeah, there was no mention it from any GW staffers. And next, I just want to give a massive shout out really to a chap called Tom Walton. Tom Walton is a miniature designer, actually at GW, and I was blown away with his interaction between answering questions and stuff like that, how he designed stuff. As you can see in the background, he's the one who designed the Mechanicus flyer. He also did some of the sister stuff, which we'll get into a little bit later in the video, but we'll stay on the Mechanicus things for now. But yeah, great. Thank you, Tom, for your insights. Absolutely made my day. Really, just speaking to Tom was worth the actual ticket price. I personally thought he was so open, you know, really going into his like design aspects, what inspired him, and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely fantastic speaking to him. So if from anyone from GW, if you watch this video, please give him a raise or give him some extra money, because he definitely deserves it on how he explains things and just talks about things. It was fantastic. So again, as you can see with the images in the background, I just took some more shots of this new Mechanicus flyer. I asked him when is the release. He said he didn't know when the release is, but it is of course part of a Mechanicus release at some point in the future. Well, it has to be, doesn't it? But yeah, I just thought I'd just try and get as many shots as possible of this flyer, give you different angles, and yeah, just to get some close-ups up it and see if people like it, and just really different angles. Sorry, yeah, that's all I've really got to say about that. I think it looks cool. Mechanicus stuff is not really for me, because I find it too small, and I've got massive sausage fingers. I'm not going to deny it. So the thought of me putting these small little bits on with plastic stuff is just scary, because I just end up snapping it like an absolute brute I am. So that's why I stick with like my glorious thick Primaris boys, because I can easily throw them against the wall and they'll just bounce back right into my lap. So yeah, I like the big chunky things, as they say. Now, some of the main things from this event, of course, were the sisters. They more or less had everything on display from the sisters, and I have to say, I am massively blown away on how amazing this army looks. Am I going to be starting a sister force? No, I'm not. I've just got too much invested with my Primaris, my Custodians and stuff at the moment. I'm just going to try and focus on building and improving them. But for those of you who are sister fans, and you can't wait for the sister launch, you are in for something absolutely just special. It looks so beautiful and fantastic. The only thing that they didn't have on show today was this new statue that they announced in the trailer, but everything else was it was absolutely gorgeous. I just can't say anything bad about it at all. It just looked absolutely beautiful. And of course, I managed to get images of all the sister stuff, box art and everything like that. As you can see, a lot of people asking me, how many pennant engines do you get? And I asked them to spin the box around to see how many we actually get in the box. So it's 2 pennant engines per box. They didn't mention anything about the prices or anything like that. They're not in that department. These guys are just the actual model designers. They just design the model, and then someone else from marketing comes along and they do their thing, and that's what it goes on for. But what you get with the Pennant engines is that you get the design for all the Pennant engines inside that box for you to go in and make whatever Pennant engine you want to do, and just customize your armor in that way. Again, when it comes to design and stuff like that, Tom again was fantastic. Talk about this. He's the one who designed all the sister tanks and stuff, and the one in the background I'm showing now. You can see like it has a little bit of resin bits on it, and I thought this was like an upgrade kit, and he was like, no, what it is that the plastic bits just weren't ready for when I built this model, so I basically just used the resin bits from it. And then we got to talking about like all the sprues from the sisters will come with like little bits of stuff on it, so you can see this tank, like the roses, the swords, and all that kind of stuff. And we had a nice little chat about him. He used to love the upgrade kits that you get to really customize your guys and really make them have some character and stuff like that. So the sisters actual sprues will have a lot of that, so you can stick them on your tanks, you can stick them on your bases, and really give each model some character. So it's great to see that you potentially have those options in the box to just go in and make fantastic looking tanks, characters, bases, scenery. Just go in and lose your mind. It's fantastic. And on the comment of design, I tried to get as many shots as I possibly could. All the angles of like the Exorcist tank and stuff like that, so enjoy them in the background. These models are just, as I mentioned, the whole sister range it's looking absolutely fantastic. Just every little bit of it is just mind blowing. For me, it scares me. It really does scare me, because if I was investing into this armor, there's just so much beautiful stuff to paint. I personally think I would be overwhelmed, but I'm sure there's people out there who just want to jump on that bandwagon and conquer it and just make these awesome looking, fantastic, beautiful models. It was just. I'll say I'm blown away with the quality of this sister launch. I think it's probably one of the best launches of an army that I've witnessed over the years. It's just awesomely, mind-blowingly cool. And just to finish off with the sister stuff, I took a couple of images of the box sets. The boxes they come in. So again, this is the Exorcist box. You can see what it looks like. It gives you a nice little paint display of what it looks like, customization. I know some people thought like the Exorcist will also be in the box with the other one. It's not. They're actually sold in separate boxes. If we just switch over to the other box, the Immolator, again you can see like the back of that box and what comes with it, and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. Those are the two boxes for the army, since I know a lot of people said, Varrock, please, if you can, try and get images of the boxes. So hopefully I did you justice, and hopefully you liked it. I'm sure there's other stuff I'm mentioned, like I asked, but I forgot to mention. I'm sorry. I'm just doing this as soon as I come in, so I'm just trying to remember everything I can. I am a bit tired, since it's like a nearly a 5-hour round trip journey from Nottingham to Manchester. The traffic was pretty bad on the motorway. So if I've missed anything out, if if you want to ask a question, post it below in the background. I was really hyped to see these two, Valerian and Alea, since I was actually listening to the Emperor's Legion, Watchers on the Throne, actually on the way down there, and I was like, oh yeah, Valerian, Alea. I can't wait to get these. Hopefully that when these release, the next book will release as well, because I'm completely in love with Chris Wright and the way he writes Custodes and the Sisters of Silence. Sisters of Silence deserve so much more, and I hope they actually get a lot more in the future. Actually talking about the future, before people ask, oh, what did they mention, any new models incoming? They're not allowed to talk about anything like that at all. If you ask them, they'll just say, oh, I can't talk about that, or I don't know, or anything like that. They're just, there's really no point. There actually was a Q&A session around 1:45, and the guy who was like leading the Q&A just said to everyone, right, just before we start getting all the questions, we're not allowed to talk about any future releases or anything like that. So those are just wasted questions. So there's no point. Some guy did actually ask a really, well, there was a lot of decent questions, but one that stuck out for me is that one guy said, what is the whole secrecy about with USGW and future releases? Like you control the IP. is, why not just tell us what's coming? In a sense, like what the same thing, like what you did with the sisters and stuff. And they're saying, they kind of responded like, but that may spoil it and stuff, and things may change, and we don't want to get people hyped up and stuff like that, which I can kind of understand. But if you just say, oh yeah, there's new Primaris coming this year, which I'm sure everyone would probably know, or maybe there's new Necrons coming this year. You don't have to go really into detail about what kind of Necron unit it is, in case it does change. Just say, yeah, new Necron stuff is coming and stuff. Just get people on that hype train. I think that's what GW should do. They actually did mention the way that the sister stuff was launched in that Q&A, saying, well, if you chaps like that kind of method, email in about it and say you want more of that kind of stuff. And I'm sure if enough people does it, then yeah. There was a question about characters and stuff mentioned. I think it was this French guy mentioned about some 2 mysterious characters in the Eldar book, and then one of the designers started to mention things like about the Lionel Johnson. Well, he's there in the Codex, and me and my friend at the front was like shouting "Confirm Lion" and stuff like that, having some banter and stuff since they mentioned the Lion. But of course, it's just banter. That's all it is. But yeah, no Primarch mentions at all. Before people start asking me in the comments section, "Why Farrah wasn't the Primarchs?" No, none of that was mentioned at all. Right, I don't think there's anything really more for me to talk about. Well, I can't really remember anything. Again, if you've got any questions, post it down below, and I'll do my best to answer you back ASAP. I am going to go take a little lie down now. I may do a stream sometime later on tonight. So if you're watching this right now, on the 4th of January, straight after I've just come back and done this, I may do a stream later tonight around 10, 11-ish and answer the questions live and stuff like that. And, that's probably the best way to do it, since you'll get a response straight away. But if not, I'm probably in bed snoring. So thank you. Again, post your comments down below and we'll have a nice little chat down there. Great day. Got to meet a friend of mine, which is always a bonus, and got to see some awesome 40k models, which is always worth it. Right, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. See you now. Have a great day, and see ya. See you now. Bye bye.